welcome to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Craig Candage.
And this week we did a comparison episode. We are comparing two cookie places. So we did Crumbl Cookies, which is more of a nationwide type chain, and the local Christie Cookie Company. And that one's located on 12th South, whereas Crumbl has got a bunch of locations, around 10. I mean, just to name a few, there's Franklin, Brentwood, Smyrna, Hillsborough Village, Nashville West. You can get all the way out to Mount Juliet, up in Hendersonville, places like that.
Yeah, so they're all over the place.
Yeah, so I think it's a pretty good comparison. We'll do. They're both like very popular around here,
right?
Obviously.
And there is that debate with people: what's your favorite cookie, Christie or Crumbl?
Yeah, I mean I think that they're both very good. I've had both of them, and but they're definitely different.
Yeah, I found Crumbl a lot sooner than I found Christie.
Same.
Just because Crumbl, there's so many more stores, you pass it all the time. I tend, people give them out as gifts,
right?
For different things. So, and they deliver. You can have them door dashed or deliver to somebody in a different state.
Right. Yeah, I think you can do like the by mail delivery as well, and then also like actual delivery right to your door, within about an hour.
I've had them deliver a few late night cookies to me.
Yeah, my wife is not a fan of Crumbl at all. Yeah.
Meaning she's a big fan.
Meaning we're on like the subscription program, I think. So, so which one do you want to jump into first? What do you think?
Let's go to Crumbl first because that was our first experience.
Okay. So for me, Crumbl, I mean, what the thing that I like about Crumbl, number one, is the convenience. Okay, so it's very convenient. Where, like we just said, you could get it delivered to your door, or you can actually, send it out, mail it places for gifts and things like that. Us being realtors, that's kind of a nice like little deal. Yep. So you can send them out as gifts and things like that too. So
or walk into one of the dozen places that are around here.
Yeah, I've got actually a little issue with the way that you pick Crumbl cookies up.
Oh yeah,
I do. Yeah. So the thing with picking them up in the store, okay, like I have the app. I ended up downloading the app out of me and Ash, right?
Okay.
And she tends to be more the one to go and pick things up for us. So what we did was ordered it on the app one day, and this is the first time that we had done it this way. Ordered it on the app, and she went to pick it up. And the thing that we found out is they will not let you check in unless the app is at the store.
Really?
Yes. And it is an absolute disaster because that place is always busy.
So
always
because it's
busy.
on your phone, but she's going, she can't pick them up.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was on my phone. I wasn't there. She went to pick it up, and I couldn't check in for her. So like she called me and she's like, "Hey, let it know that I'm here." I tried to do it. It said you need to be closer in order to do it. So she said it was a disaster because she had to walk in and it was packed. So she had to try and flag somebody down, let her know what was going on and everything. And it ended up taking her, like, she was in there for like 15 minutes, like just trying to get somebody to pay attention to her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that part of it is a bit of a disaster. But if you have the app and you order it and then you walk in yourself, it's actually really easy because you can check in, they give you the order and all that stuff.
Right there, like in and out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never actually ordered off the app. If either of us went, it was my wife Jess had gone and picked it up, or DoorDash. Now here's my big thing with them. Their cookies are delicious.
They are.
Every one of their cookies for the most part has a topping on it. And I think because of the toppings, when you do a DoorDash or like I've sent them home to my family before, the state that they're in had Crumbl,
right? And
you have a limited selection of what you can order on either DoorDash or to ship, and it's more of a dry cookie. It's not as much of ones with the intense toppings on the top because they're made out of somewhere else. So like when they do them, they're made somewhere on the West Coast, and then shipped out of there. So it's more of a basic cookie that they send.
Right.
Where when you go in the store, like my favorite one I've ever had, they had like a strawberry shortcake, and it was honestly more like a pie than a cookie, and it was amazing.
Yeah. They do have some great flavors. So.
Oh yeah, I mean the Oreo one. I mean their flavors are unbelievable, but their cookies with the toppings are definitely like that's their niche,
right?
And that's what makes people rave over them.
So that's what I think, and we'll get into Christie's in a minute here, but like I feel like that's the biggest difference between the two, right? Is that they're both really good, but they're both completely different styles. And Crumbl being, I feel, it's not so much about the cookie. Like the cookie itself it's pretty plain for the most part. So every week they change their menu.
Right.
And the one consistency that they do have is they have their chocolate chip cookie.
Which is a solid chocolate chip cookie.
That is good. Yes. That's a plain regular chocolate chip cookie, and that's about the cookie. But they do 6 flavors a week, and the other 5 are typically going to be a pretty plain, almost like sugar cookie with tons of, toppings, frostings, things like that. And that's where they change their menu.
Right.
So, whereas I feel like Christie's more about the cookie, as opposed to, they don't put like frostings. I mean, maybe they do like a little bit, but like when we just went this week,
it's not about the frosting.
It's
though.
not
about
about
the cookie.
that. Exactly. So like we went this week, and when we went, there wasn't a single cookie with any frostings or toppings or anything. It was about the cookie.
Right.
So I feel like that's the biggest differentiator between the two. Is that one's
size
a little bit more,
is definitely a huge difference too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Crumbl cookie. What do you think?
You've heard that before.
I have.
Yeah. Okay.
But
yes.
Crumbl cookie is
Crumbl cookies are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the calorie count on those. And I think we talked about that
It's like
the first
a
and
meal.
second time.
Yeah.
It's like they range from like 900 to 1,400 calories a cookie, depending on which cookie you get.
No, they're ridiculous. They're big. They're big cookies. But when I order them, I'll have half. I'll have half a cookie.
I try to have half.
So the goal is to have half, and then you really have to like try to stick with that. But yeah, for the most part, I'll just try to eat like half, because they're huge.
Yeah.
And the calories are ridiculous. Like they're big cookies. So, and then you get into Christie's cookies. They're definitely more like a smaller, more homemade type feel to them.
Right.
So again, they're more about like the cookie. So Crumbl, more about the frosting, a much bigger size, different way of getting it delivered, things like that. And then, like we just said, we went to Christie's earlier in the week, and we tried those. So the cookies are great, I thought.
Right.
I tried a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie, and then a snickerdoodle. Honestly, with the snickerdoodle, it was a snickerdoodle. For me, that one didn't like stand out. I thought it was good. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but it's normal,
Right.
The other cookie was fantastic. Definitely, it was small, homemade, great like amount of chips and stuff inside of it. So everything was really good. But that's not the main event.
So I kept telling Chris about this one item that Christie Cookie had, and I had it probably a few months ago, and when it touched my lips, I was like, this is one of the greatest things that's ever gone in my mouth.
Yes.
It's a brookie.
Yes, it is.
And it's a chocolate chip cookie, a brownie, and in between.
And this is where
This is what makes this brookie.
This
in
is
between
unlike.
is an incredibly good tasting soft caramel.
Yep.
And it just makes the brookie.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had brookies in the past, from other places, restaurants make them, things like that. And they're great because, who doesn't like a chocolate chip cookie with a brownie together?
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. But yeah, I think the thing that set this one apart, I don't know if I've ever had one with caramel, but
I haven't.
I can't remember having one. Maybe I have, but I don't remember it, so it wasn't that outstanding. But this one I will remember for sure because it was good. Like the caramel in between the two layers was perfect. So
yeah.
It absolutely made the cookie. Well, brookie.
The brookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, as far as Crumbl's concerned, their flavors, what they have, they'll have like an Oreo cookie one. They have, you remember that little chocolate cupcake with the white swirl going down the middle of it?
No.
They had one. I think it was like a Little Debbie or one of those companies, and they came in a 2-pack. and it had like a white frosting on the
Right.
inside. They make one that's like that. They had a mint chocolate chip cookie that tasted like mint chocolate chip ice cream from Baskin Robbins.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And that's also my favorite ice cream from Baskin Robbins. So
Yeah,
that
they
one
do.
hit me good.
I mean, some of the flavors that Crumbl comes up with they're unreal.
Yeah,
you know?
and they hit every time on those flavors. Like it tastes like what they say it's going to taste like.
Yeah. They'll do like themes for the week too. So and I didn't tell the kids about this, but they would have loved it. Is like I think they did like a Minions theme.
Oh, okay.
Like last week, so like they had a bunch that were like yellow and like sort of one of I think like looked like a minion, something like that. So
yeah, probably their typical like sugar cookie flavor, and then kind of painted on.
Basically,
yeah,
just like everything else, the typical sugar cookie with frosting on it. But
now,
some of them, the other thing that I'll say too is like some are made to be cold,
right,
and some are made to be heated.
Mm-hmm.
So they're obviously way better if you can go and get them fresh. My wife, she knows all the tricks now, right? Just like I said, big rewards members we are at Crumbl. We've gotten plenty of free stuff from Crumbl, but she's very passionate about her love of cookies. So
as she should be.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little too much, but it's okay. But she knows all the tricks now. So the hot ones, she knows exactly what temperature to toss
and
the
how
oven
long,
on and how long.
It does make a difference too.
It really does.
Yeah.
And then the cold ones, you can leave them in the fridge, and that usually is pretty good temperature. You don't have to freeze them or anything. You freeze them, they get a little too hard. But yeah, if you leave the cold ones in the fridge, those are perfect. But I'd say like 75% of them you end up just like leaving it room temperature, and they're completely fine. But yeah, some of them come hot, some come cold, some are like regular. So
what I love about the Crumbl consistency is it's got a little bit of like a crisp layer on them, and the inside is so soft and moist, and that it's like perfect.
Yes.
Every single time.
Right.
Like it's never different.
No, and they're very consistent.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
So like,
now I've never actually had a cookie from Christie. I've only done the brookie.
Really?
Never.
Okay.
What do you think the difference is between the actual cookie?
The cookie? I mean, the biggest thing is like like a more like, I guess the biggest thing is that Christie's is more of like that homemade taste, the homemade feel, right? Like they're smaller, and the way that they're made, so like you get like the bigger like ingredients, like the chocolate chips and things like that,
okay,
right? So it's more focused on the inside of the cookie and like what you actually put into the cookie itself. Whereas I feel like Crumbl is more of like a, like a widely manufactured cookie, and then it's just dressed up with the frosting.
So you can tell that the cookie's not like the main focus.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And
now, what about the consistency on the Christie one? As far as like, is it soft? Is it hard?
Yeah. So the one that I had was it was definitely soft. It's more of like a chewy. It's not like a crisp cookie.
Okay.
It's a homemade, like soft baked type of cookie. For sure.
Cookie grandma made.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the nice, like almost like melted chips and things like that. I mean, you look on the website, which I was just looking up today because we actually didn't take any pictures. We were in a little bit of a rush, not like we had anything to do.
We were in a rush shoving brookies in our faces is what we were doing.
Yeah, we weren't in a rush to get anywhere. We were in a rush to crush those cookies is what it was, and totally forgot to take pictures. So not going to be able to toss any of those
Well,
up.
you know what? Maybe we go back
guess we
again.
have to go back, yeah.
What a shame.
But I was just looking at their website, and their cookies on the website, they look exactly like what the cookies were that we got.
Okay.
So, so there wasn't much of a difference, and I mean that's a good thing. Like it looked exactly the same in person as it did online. So,
right.
As far as some flavors, so. Looking at Christie's lineup, right? And these are the ones that you can order online right now. So they've got a lemon blueberry, the peanut butter chocolate chip one that I had, a Rocky Road, oatmeal raisin, a regular chocolate chip, white chocolate macadamia, and the snickerdoodle. So the way that you order these, they come in 18 cookies.
That's if you're ordering.
If you're just
online
ordering it online,
okay.
yeah, and getting it delivered. So then they also have other options too. Like you can get them in like tins, so like they'll send you an actual tin that says like Christie Cookie Company on it. They have like holiday tins. The tins will come anywhere from a dozen all the way up to like 60 cookies.
Okay.
So, and they'll do like an assortment. It doesn't all have to be like the same one. So
that's pretty good.
So they have a lot of options too, as far as getting them not completely fresh at the store. You can get them delivered. It's just, I feel like Crumbl's a little bit more accessible. Obviously, right. I mean, there's only 2 locations for Christie's. So there's the one in 12 South, but then there's also one in, I think like their bakery is in Germantown.
Yeah. Which is like the beginning of North Nashville.
Yeah. And I'm not sure, because I've never tried, but I'm not sure if you can go in there and get cookies, or if that's just where
they have hours, like you said when you were looking it up, but they
so I think you can go in. It's
kind of stayed in there that's their bakery.
Right. So what about I guess again local? So they're local as opposed to Crumbl being national, right? So what do you have to say about like the area?
So 12 South it's a very kind of boutique-y street. You got Draper James, which is Reese Witherspoon's boutique on there, where when you walk in they give you a glass of sweet tea.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
But it's not a restaurant?
Unlike Dicey's, who doesn't have sweet tea. They have sweet tea.
So Dicey's a restaurant, doesn't have sweet tea, but a clothing store
good sweet tea I hear
has
too.
Good sweet tea.
Yes.
All right.
You have Edley's Barbecue.
That's gonna stay with me for a long time. Just
same.
So you know,
Same.
I said it during the episode that we did. I was like, that hits for me. So anyway,
same. So you have their Dolly Parton's actual recording studios on there, where she keeps her bus and stuff too. Is on 12 South. You have Edley's Barbecue. There's a bunch of small boutiques. Urban Grub, one of my favorite restaurants in town, is on 12 South. In my opinion, best burger in town that they only serve on Sundays, Josephine. It's a restaurant. Mm-hmm. The burger's amazing at their Sunday brunch. Nice. There's a pizza place that the Prez from Barstool actually just got kicked out of while he was eating pizza in the parking lot. I don't know how. I think it's called Mafiosos or something to that effect. And pizza's actually pretty decent there.
What did he rate it?
He just did it. I think he threw the pizza on the ground or spit it out or something to that. He wasn't happy. I mean, it was like a guy that works there literally had no idea who he was and kicked him off the premises.
Really?
Because they were filming him taking his first bite.
Oh, nice. Hey, good
yeah.
job.
So smart move on their
yeah.
end. But it's a 12 South in general. There's a lot of stuff to do there.
Yeah.
It's an area where off of that area, it's a very desirable area to live and shop, and they just have a lot of cool things right there.
Yeah.
And it's right on the edge of kind of Green Hills, on the edge of Hillsborough Village. It's kind of its own area, but in the middle of just a lot of different higher end locations.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool area. There's a ton of stuff right around there.
Frothy Monkey, one of the most popular coffee joints.
Mm-hmm.
White Bison, another big one.
Yep.
There's some juice places, those kind of things.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely a cool area. So, if you had to pick one, which one are you picking?
I'm gonna go with Christie, strictly because of the fact that they have that brookie.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's gonna depend on my mood.
Right.
But and it also depends on what Crumbl currently has on their menu, because there's a lot of things that I would not necessarily pick over the brookie, but if you have a couple
I'm not
that are
picking,
desirable ones, I'm gonna go for those over one brookie.
Right. I'm not picking anything from Crumbl or Christie's over the brookie.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That by far that's number one.
Yeah. But with that being said, I had 2 bites of that brookie and I was done.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yes. Yeah. That thing
like very soft, but when I say solid, like it'll put some weight on you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it was two bites in and I was like, oof, all right, we're going to have to save that the rest of that one for later. But yeah, so for me, I think I'm probably picking Christie's too, because it's more like so I'm basing this completely off cookies. So, and you said that you didn't even try the cookies.
I've had I have tried the cookies, but it was like
you don't go in and order them
the next day after my wife had
Okay.
ordered some, so it wasn't like that fresh,
right?
Like right when you had it. So, and I mean, like any cookie, it'll harden up over time,
right? So I tried Christie's, was fresh, and obviously I've had Crumbl Fresh too. Cookie wise, I'm going strictly off the cookie. Forget the brookie right now. Definitely, I'm gonna pick Christies because it's more of a traditional cookie.
Right.
And like I said, and nothing wrong with Crumbl. I actually love both of the places.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick one, I'm going Christies every time because I like more of the traditional type cookie.
And that's how I am too.
Yeah, and then you get the bonus, you get the brookie in there as well. So
I wouldn't turn either down ever. Like they're both phenomenal cookies.
And the thing is I'll probably eat Crumbl like 3 times more than I'll ever eat Christies.
Due to delivery and location.
Exactly. The ease of being able to get it and the rewards program
100%
keeps me coming back.
Yeah.
Because you get free stuff, you know.
Oh, so sometimes I'll just make an order and not pay for it because I had so many points. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Christie's has one. I just don't know.
They do have one because when I left, when I left, it said you gained a point.
Oh, well, there you go. It's just not as convenient. I guess that's the thing. Being like living where we live, Crumbl's going to deliver to us in about 30 minutes.
I think I made an account the first time we went to Christie, and that's why.
Yeah.
Like I signed up for it right there, and then if you've delivered Crumbl, you have to make an account. So So you're automatically in the rewards program.
Yes. And you get some rewards pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it lengthens out, I think. I think they give you that reward right at the beginning, like after like one order or something like that, just to get you coming back, and then you're hooked.
After that, it's every dollar you spend is like a certain amount of points.
But then exactly. But then they lengthen the amount of the reward. Like you have to get to like 10, 20, things like that.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so for me, Christie's over Crumbl. That's what I'm going with.
For me, Christie Cookie over Crumbl, but that brookie over just about any other dessert I've ever had.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
all right, I think we're settled. We agree on this one.
Absolutely,
so that's good. That hasn't happened a lot lately. So,
I say if you're a Crumbl fan,
go
check out Christie Cookie because you're gonna like it.
Absolutely,
and it's local, so help out a local company as well.
Yes, definitely.
And if you didn't bring a drink with you to put down that cookie or that brookie, go right next door to Draper James and grab a sweet tea.
You might have to buy some clothes to do it, but that's okay. At least you get that sweet tea, unlike Dicey's. Not going to let it go. So, you got anything else on either one of those?
Nope.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys, have a good week.
Download our episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast. I'm at The Nashville Realtor and Craig is at Real Estate Rockstar.